Welcome in, guys. Happy Monday. Gonna be a solo show today. My man John is having a colonoscopy, so that kind of blows for him. As you guys know, we're always in communication about the slate. Talked about the games last night, this morning as well. Got bets out. Already 4 bets out for members today, and things have been heating up. 3 of the last 4 days been winning days, up 6 units over the weekend. You guys know how it goes. A lot of dogs, a lot of value. And hit a little cold stretch last week. We never hide from it, always transparent. So good to break out of that. And going into the month of July coming up now. July last year in 2022 was the most profitable month in 2022. John in 2021, after the All-Star break, had just one losing week after the All-Star break. That's kind of been a trend with the NBA too. That stretch in February and March, fresh out of the All-Star break, is when he has been best. So we'll see if the trends continue with him, and we'll see if the July becomes another big July. But definitely a good time to get on board, guys. A lot going on. 4 bets out today. As always, I'll go through the slate, and thought it was probably best not to have John here. Didn't want to have that footage of the colonoscopy. But for those of you guys who are hoping for that kind of content, sorry, go check another channel. Not happening today. But yeah, things have been heating up, guys. That's going well. MLB, weird weekend in the MLB. Let's talk about it. So baseball, such a long season, such a weird sport, 162 games. We talk about it all the time. Anything can happen any given day. How about Jordan fucking Lyles? 0 for 15, goes to Tampa Bay. Best record, best home record in baseball. And that's when he gets his first win of the season. Doesn't make sense. That's baseball. How about a couple other stats for you? The Angels, I think it was 32-12. They outscored Colorado in that series, but they lost the series, just that one massive 25-1 game. Seattle, they go on a 6-game trip. They outscored the Yankees and the Orioles 36-19, but they lose 4 of the 6 games. So that's baseball for you. Anything can happen any given day, and that's what's been going on. Dog's been heating up. We'll see if that continues for us. Small card today, only 6 matchups. Some interesting pitching matchups, nothing too drastic. We had some really good pitching cards lately. Today, not quite as good, but hey, let's dive in. We'll go through it. I will have a free bet for you guys. The last game on the card, Nats and the Mariners. You guys should know where we're going there. We'll show you guys the preview that we have there for how to beat the bookie members as well. So let's jump in. Small card. And honestly, guys, obviously we typically bet dogs, right? We say there's value in favorites sometimes. Today's one of those days where I could make a strong argument for every single dog on the board. So we'll see if that's the case. Let's start off. Brewers going on to the Mets. Rhea versus Verlander. Brewers playing pretty good ball right now. So they have had a little bit of an easy schedule while they've been playing better, but nonetheless, 6-3 their last 9. They won 2 of 3 at Cleveland. Yesterday, they pulled it off in extras. Bat's still pretty cold, though, hitting just 197 this week. And Rhea hasn't been the greatest. Last 2 starts, 9 runs, 8 earned, 12 hits, and 10 in the third. So he's been giving up some damage, and Brewers have been getting it done with the pitching. We'll see if that can carry over at all into the series with the Mets. Meanwhile, Verlander's just so hot and cold. Every other start, he's allowing 1 run. Started to be a little bit more of a trend with that, though. It's the home starts where he's really had success. So last time out, gave up 4 runs in 7 innings at Houston. Prior to that, the quality start versus the Yankees. Verlander, though, in his last 3 home starts in Citi Field, 3 runs, 20 innings, 19 Ks, 3 walks, allowing 1 run in each of those 3 starts. So starting to get a bit better at home with Verlander. We'll see if he's starting to be back to the Cy Young of last year, starting to be back to that $40 million contract that dude's getting paid. Either way, this is a massive price on this game. Looking as high at about -173 right now, -171 at circa. That's what we have going on here. Actually, I'll pull up the Don Best screen for you guys to take a look at it. Yeah, so it's a massive, that looks better. It's a massive line on this game for a Mets team. Mets are just 5-15 their last 20 games. 5-15. It's a big old price here. Like I said before, Brewers 6-3 their last 9. Mets yesterday, the way they lost that game, just absolutely pathetic. I don't know if you guys caught that. In the 8th inning, they gave up 4 runs, 1 hit. I think it was 3 walks, a hit by pitch, an error. Just disgusting baseball, all around team effort and fucking the lead up. And next thing you know, another Mets loss. So no way in hell am I going to be laying Mets -170. Yes, you can say Verlander has the pitching edge. Verlander's been great at home recently. It does not matter. The Mets will find a way to lose this game. It just kind of seems what they've been doing. So see that continues. Brewers are nobody in that top game. Then we have a pair of AL matchups. So first one here, Tigers going on to Texas. Interesting matchup. So Detroit been playing pretty decent baseball lately. They go 3-3 on the homestand. They're scoring just 3.6 runs per game on that homestand. They're 29th in scoring this year, so the runs not coming in for Detroit. Meanwhile, Texas, they go 3-3 on their road trip. Lost 2 of 3 against the Yankees, scoring just 2.3 runs per game. Now, this is a Texas offense that leads baseball, scoring almost 6 runs per game. So I imagine that continues, and maybe this Detroit series is kind of what they need to get the bats wakened up. We'll see if that carries over. Pitching matchup, Boyd versus Heaney. Ayo, fun little stat here with Boyd today. Tigers are 6-1 in his 7 road starts. He is 4-0, 3.44 ERA, holding teams to a 204 batting average. So Boyd been terrific on the road. Tigers, not the greatest road team in general, actually towards the bottom of the league in that, but they get it done with Boyd on the mound. Meanwhile, Heaney going for Texas. Now they've won 6 of his last 7 starts. He's coming off a decent start, 2 runs and 5 2/3 versus the White Sox. He is have some home struggles this year, 5.35 ERA across 8 home starts. So we'll see that continues there for Heaney. Another big price here. Yes, Texas gets the lineup edge. Got to give the pitching edge there to Boyd, the way he's going with those road numbers, coming off a quality start versus Kansas City. Don't love going against the Rangers here. Just like I said, they're coming back from a tough trip. This is kind of their get right spot. The bats went quiet. This is a series they kind of need to get going. Just a big price for Heaney. I don't make this game this high. This is another opportunity, dog or nothing here with Detroit. Then White Sox at Angels. If there was a favorite on the card today, would probably be this Angels team. Maybe Baltimore once we get there. We'll talk about it. My lean here on the game is still the White Sox. I'll say that. It's White Sox at Angels. Cease on the bump. White Sox, decent right now. They got 3-3 in the homestand, coming off a win against Boston. Angels lost 4-3 at Colorado Sunday. They lost 4 of 5, scoring 2 runs per game in those 4 losses. And like we talked about before, shot up for 25 runs in the 1 win. Everyone saw that over the weekend. So Angels really not playing the best baseball right now. One magnificent performance. Those 25 runs don't carry over, so it doesn't mean jack shit. It's just 1 win. Detmers, last 3 starts, fantastic. 2 runs in 18 2/3. Last time out, went in a nice little pitching duel with Kershaw, threw 7 shutout innings against the Dodgers, 8 Ks, 1 walk. So he's been pitching well. Cease, last 4 starts, 6 runs in 22 2/3. And last one was a quality start against that Texas Rangers best offense, holding them to 2 runs in 6 innings. Had a nasty start versus the Angels last year. 1 hit, 7 shutout innings, 11 Ks, 0 walks. Does have a 5+ ERA on the road. Now, I'm low on this Angels team in general. If you guys have been watching this the last couple months, you guys know about a couple weeks ago, said Angels are going to go on their typical May downtrend, the losing streaks, and they did for a little bit, and then they went on their nice little run. And now they've come back, lost 4 of 5. John and I kind of talked about it a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of delay to that drop off the Angels usually have. We'll see if it happens here. Guys like Detmers, they get big pitching performances out of. They don't get that across the whole 6-month season. So that's kind of the hard part with the Angels. They don't get the pitching consistently. And their offense, all of a sudden, 25 runs, but they don't get it consistently over a set of games. So that's been problematic. Lean to the White Sox here, playing decent baseball right now. Got the ace on the mound, kind of need a performance here from him. Yes, I like what I've seen from Detmers. Just don't want to be laying this Angels team as a favorite right now. I think they're downward trending. I think there's going to be a lot of value going against the Halos the next couple of weeks. We'll see if that becomes a thing. Very fun matchup here. Cincinnati going on to Baltimore. A couple of the younger up-and-coming teams, if you will. Cincy lose 2 of 3 against Atlanta. They dropped the last 2 after the 12-game win streak. Both of those scores 7-6. So still competitive with the best team in the NL there, hitting 283 this week. Williamson on the bump there for Cincy. Now, they have won 6 of his last 7 starts, and it hasn't because he's been good. Last 2 gave up 7 runs, 6 earned in 10 innings versus KC and Colorado, 2 of the worst 4 teams in baseball. So Williamson hasn't been pitching well, but they seem to win when he's on the mound. And then it's going to be Irvin for the O's. You guys know the story with him. Back in April, he was pitching horrible, gets sent down, brought back up. Ben Decent is being brought back up. Was used in relief last time out, though. 1 run and 1 inning against Tampa Bay. Prior to that, in the 2 starts since rejoining the rotation, 4 runs and 9 1/3. I don't like when they do this with pitchers. You had a guy who you bring in the offseason in Irvin, right? He had a pretty good season in Oakland. You bring him in, you're hoping to get some type of pitching performance like last year. just shit out the gates in April. Send him down, get the confidence coming back up. Brought him back up against KC, which I loved because that's just how you get your confidence going. Face a shit team, gives you a quality start. Next time out, not so great. And then you throw him in relief. I hate when you mess with a pitcher like that. Give him the confidence, put him in your rotation, tell him the ball is his, go 5-6 innings. I don't like when you're messing with that. So this game to me is Cincinnati or nobody. Again, I don't like Williamson, not the best pitcher. They just seem to find a way to win when he's on the mound. This could just be an over game. Obviously, Cincinnati coming off a very high-scoring series with Atlanta. They've been playing very high-scoring baseball these last couple of weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised if that continues on into Baltimore. Orioles, they did just beat up on the Mariners. They've won 4 of 6, hitting just .219 this week, though, so bat's a little quiet. This game to me is Cincinnati or nobody. Need a bit more on that price. Looking at about plus 118 right now at most spots, plus 120 at a couple others. Just need a little bit more there. Cincy due for some regression. The win streak, it was huge. How big of a losing streak are they going to go on now? Those losses come in bunches. The wins come in bunches. So we'll see there. Still, Cincy or nobody, over or nothing for me in Baltimore today. Next matchup, guys, we have Minnesota going on to Atlanta. If you guys follow on the Instagram, saw that this is the pitching matchup of the day, Gray versus Strider. You guys know the story with this Atlanta team right now. Just lights out. 17-3 their last 20. They won 10 of their last 11, scoring over 8 runs per game. Lead the league in homers. Offense is absolutely lights out. Now, this is the interesting about Gray going today for the Twins. He is good, not great. And then he was great at the start of the year. Only 2 quality starts in his last 9. But he hasn't had a bad start this year. One of the very few pitchers, I think you can say that, hasn't had a bad start, has not given up over 3 runs at all this season. So although you're not getting lights out stuff, he's only going about 5 innings a start, keeping you in the game for about 5 innings. Against this Braves offense right now, if you can get that staying in this game within 5 innings, that means the world. Strider going for Atlanta. He hasn't been that great lately. So Braves are 13-2 in Strider starts. Let's get that trend out there. That's a big trend there. But hasn't been that great lately. Coming off a bounce-back quality start against the Phillies, allowed 1 run in 6 innings, still gave up 8 hits. Prior to that start, he was absolutely hammered, gave up 13 runs, 5 homers, and 9 innings in his 2 prior starts. So last 3 starts for Strider getting hit. Philly just didn't turn it into runs against him, and he has a 4.62 ERA in his 7 home starts. This is a big price here for Atlanta. Got to watch for lineups in this game. I would not be surprised if someone for the Braves got a day off in this series or in this first game here on Monday. You have them coming back from the road trip. So sometimes on that first day back, coming off 2 really tough matchups. Going into Philly was riding that 6-game win streak. They were 13-2 when they started that series. They snapped the Philly win streak. Then they go into red hot Cincinnati, end up snapping their 12-game win streak. And then win 2 out of 3 there. So Braves facing 2 of the hottest teams in baseball, take care of business. Maybe a little bit of a letdown now, coming back home, getting one of these shit AL Central teams, and opportunity for maybe some of these guys to get a day off. We'll see who it is. I don't know if you can take out Olsen right now. What do you have? A couple of home runs in that Cincinnati series, absolutely raking. He's up there with Ohtani now in the season. So I don't know if you take out your hot bats, but wouldn't be surprised if someone got a day off here. Have to keep an eye out for those lineups. Either way, big price for Strider. I get it. Braves 17-3 the last 20. For those of you guys who are just on the Braves bandwagon right now, who am I to tell you to get off it? But still, at this price, plus 200 for a guy in Gray who's still top 5 in ERA, not taking you deep in games, still top 5 in ERA, would be Minnesota or nothing for me in this matchup. Twins playing decent ball right now. They've won 4 or 5. We'll see if they can continue that, though, against the best team in the NL. And then to wrap up the card, guys, we're going to have the Nationals at the Mariners as promised. Let me actually pull up this. So for those of you guys who aren't members, we get previews and breakdowns for every single game, whether we have a bet on it or not. This is the preview here for the free bet you guys get today, Nationals at Mariners. Let's just go through it, read it over, and then we'll break it down a little bit away from it. So Nats won 8-3 at San Diego Sunday. It was their second win in a row. They hadn't scored more than 3 runs in any of their prior 5 games. Mariners, they lost 3-2 at Baltimore. They went 2-4 on the trip and scored just 6 runs, hitting 164 in the last 2 games. Seattle 27th, hitting 229 this year. Mariners won 3 of 4 meetings last year, but they did split the 2 games in Seattle. Williams on the bump today for the Nats. He threw 6 shutout innings, 4 Ks, no walks, and a win over the Cards his last time out. Start before that, got tagged for 5 runs and 4 1/3 versus Miami. Castillo on the mound for the Mariners. Castillo been pitching well, but they've had lost 8 of his last 10 starts. And the last 2, he's just been horrible with the walks. He gave up 5 runs in 10 2/3, 9 Ks, 10 walks. Always concerning when you're seeing that. Don't want to be giving up free base runners. And that's actually roughed him up a bit last year. 5 runs, 3 earned, and 6 1/3 in a loss. That was back when he was still with Cincinnati. He has been much better at home, though, with a 2.03 ERA, holding teams to a 169 batting average. And as the sum up there on the bottom in bold, Castillo gets pitching advantage. But much like against Padres, Nats cannot be this big of a dog against a below 500 team. So like we talked about the start, as far as a really hot weekend, we were on the Nats a couple of times there. Had them yesterday again as a big dog. And it's the same thing. It's a massive price. Who the fuck are the Mariners to be minus 250 favorites over anybody? Really, over anybody. They're not hitting. Top 5 in the league in strikeouts. Bottom 3 as far as batting average. Bats aren't giving you shit. Castillo, 10 walks in his last 2 starts. They've lost 8 of his last 10 starts. I get it. The Nats are dog shit. Williams, not the best pitcher on that rotation, towards the bottom of that rotation. Nonetheless, massive price here. This is Nats all the way, guys. Biggest dog on the card. We got a unit on that one. One of the 4 bets we have going on this slate today. We'll see how that goes. Small card, 6 games. We have some fun matchups coming up tomorrow. We'll see what we get out of it. Guardians trying to catch Minnesota in that division. They're going to get a nice little matchup with KC. Dodgers at Colorado. Always fun trying to get the Rockies some big value in Coors versus LA. Rays versus D-backs, 2 of the top teams in baseball. So fun matchups coming up tomorrow. We'll see what we get there, and we'll see what we get tonight. For those of you guys who are members, 4 bets already out today. Potential to be adding 1 more. There is a game we have our eye on. We'll see where it goes as far as the line. Need a bit more on that number. Been a good last 4 days, guys. 3 of the last 4 days winning days. When we betting consistently dogs, it is some tough woes, some low valleys. I mean, when you're betting like that, but the win stretches, the winning weeks, monster days, monster weeks, big plus money, big hits. So the hot times are hot times. Feels like we're going in that route. Had a pretty rough first half of June. Hopefully close it on a big note and head on into July on a bigger note. So we'll see if we can keep it going there, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shorter episode today. One, it's just myself. Secondly, just 6 games. Hopefully all's good with John. We'll have him back up here tomorrow. And other than that, hey, like, subscribe, comment. Please help grow this podcast. Appreciate all you guys who tune in every single day. Your guys' support means the world. And, hey, let's make some damn money, huh?